So 1:20 to go before the start of race number 1 as the 11 teams now get themselves into position. France unable to go today, so the pressure really on the rest of the fleet.
Yeah, first thing we can see here, Todd, is a really short downwind leg in front of the crowd there. This start will be absolutely crucial. You need to lead at Mark 1 or it's going to be carnage.
So the teams are getting themselves into position and they will begin the dance before the start of race number 1. Race number 1 set to go here at the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix, Portsmouth, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. And this will be critical, Stevie. You could have absolute carnage because of the way this course is set up.
Just such a short sprint to Mark 1 and then an even shorter sprint to Gate 2. We see the boats coming back, and I like Canada's move here. The late tack in, you can see the favoured triangle lines on there. The blue pathway shows us the optimum place to start. Our Rolex pole predictor sits on board Spain at the moment, but I think Canada have got the control in position. New Zealand, it's aggressive from Burling up at the top of the line. He's going to need to be oh so fast to get over the fleet from here. Spain and Canada are in the pole position, but who's going to get their timing right? The right-hand side of our screen will turn white when we're good to go. United States winded up, Switzerland winded up, New Zealand at the top of the line are so fast. Ooh. Brilliant from Dylan Fletcher and Emirates Great Britain. He's going to lead at Mark 1 from here in New Zealand. Well, they're going to be on the outside of the bend, and it's going to be hard for Burling and co. They're going to need to be very, very fast. Early manoeuvre coming for Emirates Great Britain.
At mark number 1, it's the home team, Emirates GBR, that have the lead.
Oh, look how fast the Kiwis have gone there as well. Rottwell, Denmark, though, aggressive. Sehested holds them wide. Spain dive on the inside, and it's now a sprint to Gate 2. The fans are going to get a great view, but look how congested the fleet is here. Great Britain are going to take a left turn. Keep it simple. We heard Fletcher say that. Anticipate here, Burling doing an extra manoeuvre and turning right to try and clear the traffic. So it's great to see so many people getting down, getting to see the F50s there, getting to see how cool sailing can be.
And Emirates GBR lead them into the start box. The winners of race number 1, remember that's 10 valuable points. Over the course of 7 races, you want to have the most points or at least be in the top 3 to make the event final. All right, so here we go. 1 minute to go before the start. They get into that start box and they'll wait for that red line to turn white, and then the racing is on. Hannah Diamond, you've raced in these waters. How much can you learn after 1 race?
I think a huge amount, but it's about whether you can execute it in the next race. We can see the shape of the start box here. There's a lot of distance behind the line, so getting your timing back is really, really important.
Well, and timing back, talking about, look at Spain. They are late for me. I think Spain are going to really struggle from here. We could see the downwind end of the line in the middle of our screen with the blue triangles flashing towards it. That's the pole position. But we saw New Zealand with a very different strategy, much like the Bonds Flying Rouge towards the top end of the fleet here, that they found space and they just hit the line fast. So it's all about hitting that line quick. New Zealand are going to get a gap in behind Rottwell, Denmark. He could pull a bit of a Harry Houdini here on board the black foils. Rolex pole predictor sits on Brazil, but I don't see where they're going to get through. Germany looks early. All about timing now before that line turns white. Canada could sneak out at the bottom of the line, and the Bonds Flying Rouge are going to be fast.
This is the umpires. Early start penalty, Germany.
Oh, Germany have got to go right to the back of the pack, and they look like they were really early. Oh, here we go. Italy are going to lead here at Mark 1. Ruggero Tita, this could be huge for the Italians as they get to Mark 1, and they're going to have control of the race course.
At mark number 1 in race number 2, it's Red Bull Italy and Ruggero Tita, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist that has the lead.
2, 1.
First manoeuvre. We see the Bonds Flying Rouge there, getting it held off the course by Burling. Burling very aggressive with the Australians there, forced them wide in the background, and Tita was late with his manoeuvre. Schneider drove it like he stole it at Mark 1, and he's managed to dive inside the Italian, sailed about 75 metres less distance. Brilliant from the Swiss team.
25 to go before the start of race number 3, the 3rd race out of 4 today. Near perfect conditions today as we get you ready for this second half of racing today. Remember, tomorrow we've got 3 more fleet races and then the event final on Championship Sunday. So we'll get that all dialed in. There you see some of the road traffic furniture they have to deal with as all 11 teams get themselves into position in the start box. So 1 minute to go, and here we are. 11 teams battling out for the 10 points that go to the winner of this race. Remember, we are short 1 team because of the incident that France had early in training before the start of racing today.
Yeah, once again, that position is pretty favoured, isn't it, down the line? I think what's different to a lot of the other events we have is it's such a short run to Mark 1, and it's then so important that you can turn right at Mark 1. You have to be on the inside, and Taylor Canfield made an aggressive move down there. He's trying to put himself right at the bottom of the line. The tricky thing you've got being in his position now is, can you hit that line going fast? That will be the challenge. But New Zealand, Italy and Australia look quite well positioned for me, but they are going to have to hope for a gap. North Star Canada towards the bottom of middle of our screen. They're going to be well positioned to accelerate, but it's all about timing now. Emirates Great Britain start to wind it up the line here. There's going to be a gap through the middle for the Brits, I think. Looking for this line to turn wide, looking for the timing.
Oh, I think the Brazilians
this is
early.
the umpires. Early start penalty, Brazil and USA.
Brazil and USA, they were way early here, and I think we're going to see New Zealand and Spain at the bottom end of the line. They're going to be on the inside of the turn at Mark 1. I think the Kiwis are going to lead from here. Spain makes some space. Expect Botin to spin it hard at Mark 1.
Your board, and Tim, go down, board, 3, 2, 1.
Little slow for the Spanish. They've opened the door for the Swiss again. I'm staggered. He did such a good job of setting himself up, and then he was late dropping the board. Has he given the Swiss an overtake?
So mark number 1, it is the Black Foils, New Zealand out in front. It looks like Sebastian Schneider and the Swiss will hold on to second, and Diego Botin doing a great job. The Spanish currently sitting in third.
Yep.
And now we're less than 80 seconds away from the start of the 4th and final race. Remember, 3 more fleet races tomorrow on Super Sunday before the event final. With 1:10 to go, we'll see what everyone decides to do. Hannah, you wonder how much they've learned after 3 races, where they want to be at what point, because it sounds like from everyone we've talked to, if you can get a good start, you give yourself a real chance of taking the win.
Yeah, and we've seen that left turn is really strong, so making your first maneuver early out of Mark 1 so you can do that left turn. But just because you know that that's the right strategy doesn't mean it's any easier to execute.
Knowing what to do, Stevie, and being able to do it are 2 different things, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost even harder when it's that obvious, because everyone's trying to be in the same spot, and, you know, every person on these boats will know that's the place to be. It's not that you and I and Hannah are rocket scientists up here, Todd. They'll have all worked it out, and we can see once again the pole predictors at the bottom corner there on the downwind end of the start line. But that, again, I just think the difference here is it's such a short run to Mark 1. You haven't got the time to use the extra speed you'd had if you were up the line. Spain well positioned. New Zealand well positioned at the moment here. The Roos, well, they've got some space, and Slingsby is going to be able to wind it up from here if he can keep his timing right. They look a little late on board Canada. North Star Canada having a shocker today. Here we go. Looking for that line to turn white. Slingsby's going to swing it down here. All about acceleration. Watch for the go. Perfect from the Roos, and Slingsby, when he needs to pull a rabbit from a hat, he's done it, because they need a good race here, and the Roos are going to lead at Mark 1.
Okay, let's stand by there.
So as they approach mark number 1, it is the Bonds Flying Roos of Australia and Tom Slingsby, the winners of the 2nd event of the season, New Zealand. They are off and running.
And the Spanish have learnt their lesson. They've spun it inside their Botin. He's given himself a chance. He must keep clear of Australia until he gets in the yellow circle, which is off the side of our screen at the moment. Slingsby will be aggressive here. He's going to try and push the Spanish off.
Yep, coming up. Coming down hard.
Going to try and force the Spanish off the course here.
Look at this.
He needs to not be overlapped. Brilliant by Slingsby. Absolutely textbook, and he's made it so hard for the Spanish. They're going to be slow out of gate 2.
And there are the teams, all 12 of them, ready to go racing as Team France is back on the water, and that's the best news we've heard all day, Hannah. They look very sharp. We'll see what they can do today.
Yeah, they'll be really excited to get back racing, that's for sure. We've got some epic conditions for racing today.
And a big hurry to get in that start box, Stevie. Okay, this is where the dance begins. We've had a chatter about this. Now you see where the preferred line is. It's more in the middle of the box. Why has that changed from yesterday?
Well, I think they're just trying to even things out a little bit, but it's a very, very short run to Mark 1. That's off the right-hand side of our screen. And basically, if you're stuck too far up the line, you're going to end up on the outside of the turn. So this start will be crucial. USA seem to have stopped with a bit of a problem here. Not sure what's happened to them. Bit of a disaster before the first race of the day here, but it's tight in the pack. Germany, they're going the wrong way at the moment, a little out of control. It's absolute, it's like Piccadilly Circus at the moment in that start line. The Bonds Flying Rouge are well positioned towards the bottom of the line, but they're going to have to keep clear of France. It's all lining up for a tight blanket start here. The Swiss at the bottom are going to try and find in top of the line. Rolex pole predictor sits on board Mubadala Brazil, but New Zealand have total control of them. It's all about acceleration now. Look for the black foils to wind it up. North Star Canada well positioned now. Looking for the line to turn right. Who's got it right? Perfect from North Star Canada out the middle, and they're going to be able to drop the hammer from here. Giles Scott's going to wind it up and send it towards Mark 1, and there go the black foils on the charge.
No need for elbows out for the Canadians as they hit mark number 1 in first place. They get the whole shot. The Kiwis sit in second place. Germany Deutsche Bank in third, and on the inside, it's Emirates GBR who control that position.
And they've slightly squared the course up a bit here, Todd. You can carry on after Mark 1 a bit. Look at this. Bonds Flying Rouge in last place at Mark 1 of those boats currently racing. Emirates Great Britain, another good race. Spain, current championship leaders, are in the middle of the pack. It's going to be an absolute scrap, and expect some carnage at gate 2.
So now the teams begin the dance all over again. Race 6 abandoned the first go-round. We'll try it one more time here. And the course is clear. 1 minute to go. Emirates GBR a little late to get back in there, and we still don't have an update on what's going on with Team USA, the SailGP team, really struggling to get their boat to the water. So it's now 11 boats out of the water as Dylan Fletcher and his team come screaming into the start box.
Yeah, different approach here. They're going to wind it up with a loop down. This won't be plan A, I would imagine, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing. They're going to have an option for space, and they should be able to make things happen for them quite well here. It's going to be a tight turn in, and they're going to have that fast angle into Mark 1. They will be high in the box, as Ian Jensen says there. Bottom of the line, as we look down here, it's towards the right-hand side of our screen. We can see a penalty on board New Zealand. They're going to have to get back behind a lot of the boats in the fleet here. Could be a big problem for the black foils.
New Zealand relative Spain.
Okay, so just got to get back behind Spain here. Big mistake by them. Rolex pole position is on Rockwall, Denmark, and they've got a nice gap in the middle of the line. Looking for that line to turn white here. Oh, Brazil were early. That's going to be a penalty. The Swiss have got a great start, and Italy have got a great start, but Switzerland are going to need to go very, very fast to get around the outside.
Early start penalty, Brazil. Delayed starters, New Zealand and Germany.
Oh, the Swiss have done it. Schneider, wow, absolutely nailed that so fast to get over the top. He's in second, and well, the French are back with a bang.
Brazil, your penalty is to go behind all boats.
Oh, Craig Mitchell dealing out a tough card for the Brazilians.
Yeah, if you start ahead, I think you deserve to go back behind everyone, to be perfectly honest. That line's a fixed point in space, and they were ahead of it. Now, the black foils are in the right-hand side of our screen with work to do, and the French, well, they're gone, but they choose a right turn. Big call by the French here. Every other race this event, we've seen people take a left turn. Italy are going to lead out the left turn, and it's really tight in the middle.
I think that Emirates GBR is in. They have already punched enough points in that they cannot be knocked out, because it would have to be Australia and pick up 10 points. They can't overtake them.
There you go. Well, that answers your question. If I'm on Great Britain, I'm taking time to fix my boat then. I want to watch here Switzerland and Australia. That's the real battle for this final. Of course, Italy could pull something out of a hat. Does Slingsby go aggressive and try and attack the Swiss before the pre-start? I'd keep my eye on that.
1 minute to go until the final fleet race here at the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix. Portsmouth, a lot of points on the line. So Emirates GBR is in despite the fact that they have issues. The work has been done on Spain. They are back up in sailing, still in the fight. The USA, they are up in sailing. So this should be very interesting. You've got the best team so far over the last 2 days. They look like they might be sitting this one out.
Yeah, well, that's maybe not such an issue if they are already in that final. We see the Bonds Flying Rouge well positioned. Switzerland are putting themselves right in the fight there now. We see the favoured place on the start is going to be straight out the middle. Still a very, very short run to Mark 1, and you want to be on the inside of that if you can. North Star Canada well positioned. Spain, he's going to have to think up something pretty late here, and it's all going to be on your timing into the line. The Rockwall, Denmark are trying to find a gap. There could be a gap for the New Zealand or the French here at the bottom of the line. Looking for that line to turn white. The boats are going to wind up. Here we come into the start now. Australia are too close. Burling spins it down, but it's going to be De La Pierre. Perfect again out the bottom of the line. The French are going to take some beating from here, and Seb Schneider on board the Swiss. Wow, the Swiss fans are going to go wild, because they're going to be in a good place at Mark 1 once again.
Mark number 1, and it is France that roll around. They push the Swiss to the outside. North Star Canada also in the fight.
Now we have to wait for Kiwi step.
Well, we know the British are in the final. We know the New Zealand team and the Swiss were the next two, and they are second as third as it sits. So that would be our final. The Bond's flying rouge. Slingsby, he's first to manoeuvre away, and this is your moment, Tom. That Australian boat has got to overtake a lot of boats and hope for mistakes for the Kiwis or the Swiss if they have any hope of making the final.
Already got the 3 teams that will compete in the event final near the start box. We are less than, oh gosh, coming up on 90 seconds to go until this shortened race, Stevie, and we're hearing it's going to be a shorter race than we've seen in the fleet races.
Yeah, just one race, one lap of this race, so, you know, that start is going to be absolutely crucial. But Dylan did mention it is puffy and gusty out there, so there's the opportunity to find more wind and make those overtakes. And, of course, Hannah Mills' strategist, she's got some work to do there if she wants to make that happen. But I think really it's going to be all about Dylan's timing at the start, and then can Hannah find some space on the racetrack.
Nice. Going past at 102.
Okay, Kiwi's in late.
There's the lineup for the Blackfoils. Peter Burling, Leo Takahashi, of course, Blair Tuke on there, Lip Mackay, Louis Sinclair, and Marcus Hansen, the big grinders up front.
They're going to have to be working hard into this pre-start. There's a lot more space on the course, so a lot more opportunity to make sure that boat's going at top speed all the time.
First timers in the final. How about this lineup, Stevie?
It's a big lineup, and they've got a very, very strong grinding setup there. Matt Gottrell, Stu Dodson, absolute powerhouses. So that's going to be good news for Arno Sarafagis on the wing there. Going to be able to get that Swiss boat going fast. And right now, Rolex Pole Predictor sits on the Swiss. We heard that the Kiwis were late, but they're going to dive inside. We're hearing that it will be 2 laps the racecourse now. So there is going to be plenty to play here. Emirates Great Britain are early back. They're going to struggle. They've got good control, but they're going to struggle to be fast at the gun. I quite like where the Kiwis are at the moment if they're not going to be late. On United, the Great Britain team here turn the boat towards the line. Swiss are coming in fast. New Zealand are going to be slow. It's all about timing now. How's your timing, Seb Snyder, at the bottom of the line? Line goes white, and he's absolutely nailed that on board the Swiss boat. The Kiwis were late, and the British team are going to struggle to get over the top from here. Got to keep clear of the Swiss team, but they are not overlapped. Will Fletcher be brave and spin the boat down in front of the Swiss?
And at mark number 1 in the event final, Dylan Fletcher plays it smart, gives room to the Swiss and Seb Schneider. Peter Burling's not out of this just yet, but this is a shortened race, so we'll see how that all plays out. But it is the Swiss that have the controlling position right now as they line themselves up to gate 2.